All right, what's going on, everybody? So I've been on vacation for a while. I'm sort of back from vacation. I'm still on vacation, but decided to install these cameras today. So my buddy Dave came over. He's killing me. Anyways, so we decided to install these cameras today. For any of the, I don't know that I told anybody. I bought the FalconEye system. I bought the FalconEye 4 camera system with the 7-inch LCD or 7-inch display. So installing these cameras now. This turned out to be a little bit more of an event than what they lead it to be. Not super terrible. It looks a lot worse than it is. I'm going to go over there and show it to you now. I got wiring run for one of the cameras. We're getting ready to put the other camera. 2 of them are mounted. We're putting a third one in a kind of a goofy spot, so we're going to have to get that one mounted and run a wire for it. But I wanted you to see what we had to go through in order to get these things put in. So, a second here. I'll be right back. All right, so I just talked about the install that we're doing right now, and I'll show you. Just turned out, I was watching a lot of videos, and everybody had these goofy mounts that they got, and they made this big deal about having certain bar mounts. But if you look at that, I ended up just putting mine. The top mirror bolt that holds our mirror on fits perfect in that camera mount. So I ended up mounting mine there, and I'm going to run the wire right down this pipe here and inside from there. The catch here is you got to take the air cleaner normally goes right here. Air cleaner, there it is, sitting right there. You got to take the air cleaner off the side of the truck in order to get to this. There's a plate that goes right here. In order to get to that plate, you got to pull this air cleaner off, take the plate off. That allows you to run your wire in. This is where all the wires go in from the mirror. So we took the air cleaner off, mounted the camera up there, and then we started bringing wires in. And this is where the nightmare began. Well, it's not really nightmare. It looks worse than it is. So, we had to take the panel off the bottom. The glove box had to come completely out in order to get to this. You probably can't see that, but there's a rubber boot back here, right behind these green wires. That's where your wires come in at. And then we had to take I believe these are called seat posts. Take the seat post cover off and run that wire right up into the upper part, because we're going to mount the display up on top. So we got the whole top taken off there, and this one, the wires run in. This side is done, ready to go back together. I'm going to wait to put it back together because I want to see where the wire comes in from the back camera before I get too excited about putting this back together. I'm afraid that I'll be tearing it right back apart. So that's passenger side. It was actually the easy side. My boy Dave here. Say hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
There's Dave. He's working on the driver's side right now. We do the same thing over here. We do the same thing on this side. The air cleaner. There's the air cleaner. Air cleaner had to come off the side of the truck. This is the plate right here that goes right here and covers these wires going in. And then we're gonna have to fish wire through here and get it inside. And unfortunately, to do that, we got to take this dash apart to get inside there. And Dave's working on that now. So as soon as he gets that done and we get a good look at what kind of mess we're getting into there, I'll get the camera back out and we'll shoot a little bit more. We'll talk to you then. All right, well, welcome back again. This is day 2 of the camera install, which really wasn't day 2, but it didn't have to be day 2, but I got tired last night, got a little sick of working on it, so went to bed and came out and finished it up this morning. So this is what we've got. As you can see, got the truck all put back together. That was quite a bit. We had to tear quite a bit apart in order to get this to work. But I'll show you. I showed you yesterday. We mounted the cameras up here, up on top of the mirror. It just so happened that that mirror bolt up there worked out perfectly. You can probably see that. That's how we mounted that, right on the bolt that goes to the top of the mirror bracket. Unfortunately, I'm not crazy about this, but it is what it is. Like, wasn't a whole lot I could do about it. I'm not real crazy about it. We had to run the wire down the outside of the mirror bracket here, and then down into this panel here, this cover, and we had to do a little modification on the inside of the cover. There's where these bolts are inside, it's curved to fit the this bar perfectly. So in order to get this wire and give it enough room so we weren't pinching it, we had to take the grinder and grind a perfect line down through that grooved section. So that was a little bit of modification. I don't know that we had to do that, but it just seemed like the right thing to do. So we did that. Dave was grinding it, tried to take my finger off. Kind of hard to hold it while he was grinding it, and ended up losing it at one point and getting my finger, but such as life is battle. These things happen, so whatever. I'm not gonna die, I don't think. Although, I'm sure Dave is watching right now, and thanks, Dave. I'm just kidding. I don't want to make him feel bad. Really not a big deal. So anyways, we ran the wire down the outside of the cable, or outside of the mirror bracket like that. Wasn't crazy about it. I would have much preferred it going inside the mirror bracket, but you can see here where these wires go down in the mirror bracket, there's quite a bit there, and there is not much room. And the head of these brackets, or the head of these wires where they connect together, is really big. It's probably 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch big. So it takes up a lot of space when it's going down through there, and it just didn't, there was no way we were going to get it to go down through there. So we ended up having to go on the outside of the bracket, but not crazy about it, but it is what it is. I mean, it's the best way to do it. So here's the driver's side. Put that camera out. And it may actually seem like we did this one the same way. Came right down here, right down into the bracket, and then that goes inside the firewall. Then you can fish it from behind the dashboard there. The rear camera, we mounted up here. I'll take you up there and show it to you. We had that electrical housing box that houses all the wires for the lights and the beacon lights. So we just went ahead and used the lid on that. Made it a lot easier to, definitely a lot easier to screw into that than try to drill through the aluminum and put bolts in. So we ended up using that. Pretty good place for it. I think it's kind of tucked in underneath that bar up there. Give it a little bit of protection from the weather. I don't know how much it's going to help in the winter, but we'll see. So that's the rear camera. That'll be looking right down at the load. Go inside here. As you can see, we got this side all put back together too. Looking pretty good. I'll take you in here, show you how this thing works. All right, so here's where I mounted my monitor, and all I used there, I took the this bracket here, that holds the visor on the end. Took that bracket off, took the bolt out of it, and we ended up using the bolt from that to hold the monitor up. My wife very rarely goes with me. I don't really ever have passengers, so the only passenger I ever have is my wife, maybe another person from work, like my brother or Dave or somebody if I'm picking them up to something happened with one of their trucks or something, whatever. But I don't have passengers very often, so that visor up there really, I don't use it. I don't think wasn't incredibly important to put that bracket back for me, so I have the bracket. I just moved the visor. You can see it. I just moved the visor over there. It's kind of tucked out of the way, up high. I think it'll work. So that's where I mounted my monitor. Worked out pretty good. I'll show you what it looks like when it's on. There's my camera views. Now this system is pretty cool. You can adjust from, I'll try to hold this and do this at the same time. You can adjust different camera views you want. You can either see a four split here, which is all 4 of my cameras at the same time, or you can change this and make it each individual camera. So that's a pretty nice feature. I think it's gonna be real nice when I'm at a customer or something and I need to see the passenger side and my mirror's not really letting me do it. So it's gonna be real nice having that up there. Not only that, but this thing records the whole time. I actually had an incident about a month or so ago where a mobile home hauler come up next to me on 80, and we were both moving a pretty good clip. I had an oversized on, I think it was 10 foot wide. He was obviously pretty big. I think he had an Escort, so he had to be over 13. He wiggled around a little bit and got the side of his house into the side of my load, and it totally destroyed the side of his house. Broke a window, pulled the siding off, busted a bunch of the plywood, and I don't know who this guy works for, but he just kept right on going. Never stopped, never anything. I kind of stayed with him, kept waiting for him. I thought maybe he was looking for a big spot to pull over, and he never did. So I reported it to my company. Unfortunately, obviously I didn't have these cameras installed then. They would have been a huge help because they would have captured that whole thing and would have seen exactly what happened. As it stood, we went ahead and pulled my dash cam. Never got a call from the company or guy, so I don't think it's going to amount to anything. But this system, there's a perfect example right there of how it's going to protect me from those kind of incidents where there's been no question of what happened. So definitely going to be nice to have. A couple things I wanted to tell you about running this system. The wire heads on these, as I said when I was outside, the wire heads are pretty big, and I don't have any out here where you can see them. They're all tucked in. But one thing I wanted to mention about it was and I actually did this twice yesterday, and I laugh about it now, but it was not funny at all yesterday. Make sure there's a male and a female end to all of these wires. It kind of looked like, when you first look at it, it kind of looks like it doesn't matter which way you go. And that's what I was thinking in the very beginning, and man, was I wrong. So I ran that wire from that back camera way up there. There's 33 feet of wire there, and I ran it down the back, in the side, had put in the fitting that stops water from getting in. I did all that work, ran it through all the cabinets, ran it up, tucked it all in, had everything pulled out, put it all back together, and then when Dave was up there hooking that camera up, we realized I put it in backwards. So I had done that with that passenger side as well. I put it in, I fished it through the firewall, and it turned out that it was backwards. So you would have thought after the first one I would have learned my lesson, but apparently I didn't. So I did it with the second one, and I was not impressed with myself. I ended up having to take that whole wire out, turn it around, and run it all back in again. So when you're doing an install on these, if you're using this video to help you with an install, absolutely that's something you need to pay attention to. Make sure you run the wire the correct direction, because Man, that sucked. It was no fun at all. So that was probably the one big thing I saw with this. I know yesterday when I showed the video that you just saw a little bit ago, with the dashboard all torqued, that looks really scary. I mean, it looks, for somebody who is not mechanical or doesn't know these trucks or whatever, that looks terrible. Looks absolutely terrible. And I can imagine there's a lot of people out there thinking, man, no way, no way am I doing that. Don't be so scared of it. It looked bad, but it really wasn't that bad. It was that really, that was just paneling. We took off a bunch of paneling just so we could get to the wiring. So even though it looked terrible, don't worry about it. It wasn't really that bad. There were a couple things on it that fought with me to put it back together, but other than that, this was pretty straightforward install. Like, it wasn't bad at all. Two amateur guys. I'm not a diesel mechanic. I'm not even. Dave isn't either. We're just a couple guys that don't mind digging into stuff and getting going. So wasn't that bad. I would think if plan on a full day, definitely a whole day to do it. But other than that, it wasn't that bad. Finding a place to mount the cameras and then getting the wires through were the big one, and then putting everything back together took a little while, but it wasn't super bad. But there you go. That was our install on this. I know I didn't get quite as in depth as what might be. If you guys got questions, if you're going to do this, if you're thinking about buying one of these systems, or you already bought one and you're getting ready to install it, message me down below. I'll try to answer any questions you have. Obviously, I did the whole install. I didn't have really a chance. It was raining and it was kind of nasty, and I didn't really get the camera out and install it. I should have recorded the whole dang thing and you could have saw all of it. But if you're going to do it and you're worried about something, or if you get into it and there's something you need to know, just message me down below and I'll do my best to answer your question. As long as it happened to me, I could probably answer it. So I did, when I first started the camera, when I put power to it and I first fired up the camera, the display was absolutely terrible. I was really not happy and I wasn't impressed. It was just real grainy and there was like lines in it, and it looked like there was almost 3 camera. In fact, I shot a small video, so you probably saw that, where it was real grainy and kind of bad. So what turned out to be, I got on the company's website and there's some how-to videos. So one of them was troubleshooting, and that was one that was on there, and it's a pretty common problem. These things immediately fire up in 720. All you got to do is go into the menu, and when it's on 720, it's kind of a crappy picture. All you got to do is go into the menu and change it to 1080p, and boom, it fixed it. Fixed all that right away, and I have a very clear, very, very quality picture now. So that was something that scared me right in the beginning, and it probably, for you, it'll probably do the same thing. You'll fire that up and you'll see that and you'll be like, wow, this is terrible. All you got to do is go into the settings and change it from 720 to 1080p, and that'll clear that right up. So power, there's this is a little tricky. I had to look this one up too. The power wire, there's a bunch of wires back there, and the additional wiring, there's like a blue and a green and a couple other colors. Those are actually for if you wanted to hook this system to your turn signals, to where you turn your turn signal on, that camera will pull up on the screen, and that's all you'll see is that side camera, which is absolutely genius and it's awesome, but a little bit more in depth than what I wanted to do, what I think capable of. Maybe my guys at the shop could probably have done that, but not something that was important to me. So I just left those wires tied up back there. No big deal. There is a yellow wire with a fuse on it, a red wire for power, and a black wire for ground. Those are the ones you need to worry about. I hooked up the red wire and the ground, and I wasn't getting any power. And I was like, what the heck, you know, red and black are always your power source. So what it turned out being, again, I went on the manufacturer's website, watched one of their videos on installation, And that was one thing. I think it was actually in the manual. It wasn't in any of the videos. But you just tie those two wires, the yellow and black, you just tie them together. If you're going to tie this system to your ignition, then you want to run that yellow wire down to your ignition, and then the cameras will turn on with your ignition. Again, not something that is important to me. I'll just turn it on and off when I need to. So if you're not going to use it off your ignition, then they just tell you just to tie those two wires together and put them to your power source. That's what I did, and voila, everything worked fine. So there you go. That is that's our FalconEye camera install. Pretty straightforward. Little in depth. Like you take some time. So be ready to have a day, at least a day in it of install. But other than that, it's so far it's been an incredible system. I'm looking forward to seeing how it operates. Tomorrow morning I'll be out running, so looking to see how it operates and how it records and what kind of images we're getting. So that's I think that's all I got on this. So hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Hope this video helped you at all. And again, if there's some question you have that I didn't cover in this video, which there's going to be a lot, I didn't cover a lot of stuff, so feel free to comment below and I will get back to you as quick as I possibly can. Have a good day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.